Welcome everyone to another breaking IT news segment here live on this channel. Stop the presses, the weeks long rumor is true after all. NVidia apparently acquires ARM here from the UK, or better from SoftBank, the current owner there from Japan. They write here in their newsroom at NVidia, uniting NVIDIA's leadership in artificial intelligence with ARM's vast computing ecosystem to drive innovation for all customers. Innovation for all customers at NVIDIA. Yeah, with their not disclosing the specifications, not supporting open source developers, not allowing them to write a proper open source driver without signed firmware and other power and frequency measurement management. NVIDIA will expand ARM research and development presence in Cambridge, UK by establishing world-class AI research and education center, building ARM NVIDIA-powered AI supercomputer for groundbreaking research. They write NVIDIA will continue ARM's open licensing model and customer neutrality, expands ARM IP licensing portfolio. What many don't know and are always surprised about is that ARM is actually not manufacturing any processors, with all the billions of ARM processors out there, from the first Apple Newton to Xeon Armor, and not to mention BBC Micro and advanced RISC machine stuff of RISC OS, but everything in between, your motor controller biz to your x86 AMD processor startup enablement. And so what all they do is, all they do there at ARM is defining, in the meantime anyway, nowadays, defining the instructions for the architecture with all the previous videos, all the numbers there in the machine code to define what is an add and subtract and register layout and so on. All the previous videos in many complicated details. And other companies license those. They also have pre-ready-made cores, but only soft cores, similar to our RISC-V right on our FPGA. What then others like Samsung historically, many others, and nowadays even Apple, create silicon, or in case of Apple, their own, or even NVIDIA, NVIDIA, and allegedly even Amazon or so, create their own silicon based on this instruction set architecture specification. So this is why many people are worried. They write here, like even from Apple, some Apple fanboys already worrying that just because Apple doesn't have NVIDIA GPUs anymore for whatever reasons, there would also be issues. But certainly they write here, this open licensing model will continue. Certainly, yeah, whatever the licensing deals might be, it might even be that Apple has an irrevocable contract, whatever the details might be. But in any case, yeah, huge question mark. The funny thing is, when you take a look, ARM holding here also a bit in front of that operating account. Unfortunately, due to the ownership in the recent years of SoftBank here in Japanese yen, so we would need to adjust this. Hopefully this Google stuff is correct. So this yearly operational, that was operational income, I guess, whatever you want to use for that, is, well, just 229 million apparently. And the deal is, I wonder a little bit how good the deal really is, because if you divide, I think it was 40 billion, right? Did they write this here? For 40 billion. So the funny thing with this kind of transactions is always, this might be 174 years to get the money back, with nowadays all the purchases in billion. But also you wonder how much money companies like NVIDIA and Apple have in the bank, for all the NVIDIA fanboys of constantly telling me about NVIDIA, whatever, and I and others chime in, but the open source drivers. So yeah, vote with your wallet. And why competition is a good thing, because they have 40 billion just to purchase some ARM ISA licensing. I really wonder how this is a good deal for NVIDIA. So the So long-term development, there are some question marks certainly with, is there even a huge future in ARM? Certainly right now there are quite some processors, but as seen here and others, RISC-V is well on the way because everyone wants an open and community effort defined, like not set in stone by Intel or ARM, but just innovate in the research community. Anyway, because this is a little bit, I wonder with just the licensing deals, even if they just let it run the next 174 years, apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, but otherwise NVidia already did RISC-V in there, well, tiny anyway, power management of the NVIDIA GPUs, but otherwise they could have just done AI with RISC-V. I really wonder what exactly NVIDIA has here in mind to actually make a reasonable profit in the medium and long term, or anyway short in any term. But in similar news, Oracle of all companies wins bid, allegedly apparently here to some reporting, wins a bid for Tik Tok. For those I certainly don't know the most, but the app to post funny videos, usually with questionable music, video licensing background of mostly teenagers and other people jumping around and making funny videos in 2020 apparently. That is or was a thing. And due to the US politics influence there of the White House wanting to forbid after TikTok users trolled there the president, Oracle apparently now won the bidding of the US operations video sharing app TikTok. Also, let the copyright lawsuits start, similar to when YouTube was sold. So Oracle set to announce TikTok trusted tech partner. Also, apparently this is not structured as a purchase here, which likely not be structured as an outright sale. Will face White House review. But 2020 Oracle of all companies, the unsuccessful database that also has some false advertising, unbreakable Oracle Linux that usually breaks more than not. So really wonder what they want with this. But 2020 trying to make some data mining out of TikTok, I don't know. It's a strange year, sorry. And coffee for boring news day. Those Navarro writes, these transactions are usually funded by banks with about 10 to 20% equity from the buyer. That's true. I nonetheless still wonder how the long-term development will be there. I don't really see, as everyone tries to save on licensing, RISC-V has a bright future, and for that matter, I really wonder why. This also looks a little bit like please some UK watchdogs for AI research, because not really seeing that NVIDIA is creating the too many new jobs. It's just probably some, YOLO, whatever, we do there something. But also AI computing is like, you already do this on the GPU. So the whole deal is strange to me, whatever's going on there. Navarro also writes, common annoyance, Oracle software is absolute garbage. Allegedly, anyway, people agreeing there to that quality. In similar news, Apple gives Stadia and xCloud the green light to run on iOS. I didn't have dedicated news about this because the last 3 weeks didn't really make too many news here. But this is also hilarious. I said already too much here about this App Store with ourselves and all the other developers being affected, 30%, all the reviews. There were already probably 10 videos in last week's IT news or the day before yesterday's. And so what is the thing? Apple allegedly did not allow Microsoft and Google to have their game streaming service, because Apple, of course, for the children wants to review all the content and certainly rake in 30% of their money. And again, what is Apple doing? Like nothing. People at Google and Apple certainly have a compiler and the infrastructure in the game. So basically this is just video streaming. So Apple is doing zero except building barriers there in the way and raking in 30% just to get more money. And so allegedly this is also really a shady deal, probably in light of antitrust investigations and the latest lawsuit there with Steam or so regarding Fortnite. But this is super hilarious. So they write here, if this is true, allegedly, anyway, has issued revised App Store guidelines that pave the way for game streaming services such as Google Stadia, Microsoft xCloud, NVIDIA's GeForce Now to run on iOS devices. Also, yeah, 2020, and why I always said freedom. This is not freedom. These are the most expensive devices that you buy. You don't lease them, you don't rent them, you buy them, and you should, like with any PC, which Apple even says an iPad is a computer. So with any computer, you should be able to do whatever you please. And if you want to load your own homebrew operating system, such as Linux or Haiku or BSD on it, you should be able to and not have to hack the bootloader. This is also my opinion. We should a huge, not only right to repair, but right to fully own your device movement, maybe next here on this and other channels. Anyway, the streaming gaming service, so what they apparently have here is, like, may offer a catalog app on the App Store to help users signing up for the service and find the game on the App Store, provided that the app adheres to all guidelines, including offering users option to pay for the subscription with in-app purchases and sign in with Apple. Again, forcing users for that. And all games included in the catalog must link to an individual App Store product page. So this is super hilarious, right? So a total, this is also, it's total out of another world, like we are Brave New World. So that means you cannot, like on a video catalog like Amazon Video, this is also different from, imagine for each Amazon Video and YouTube video stuff, each video would need to have a native one-to-one mapping to an app, and each video we live stream here or Amazon wants to sell. This is totally hilarious. I really hope for antitrust regulations and lawsuits to come here full force. It's really sad that also this is not user friendly. This is one of the most evil companies in the meantime, Apple. In case you have not realized and still trapped in some fluffy pink and rainbows and unicorn reality distortion field. It's one of the most evil company, taking 30, it's not only selling you the most expensive product, it's barely repairable if at all, even boycotting repair shops to purchasing integrated circuits that otherwise are standard components. And for this kind of stuff, even requiring not only for the app to go through Apple's approval process for the children, obviously not, but yeah, one-to-one mapping. So that means that each game they want to stream, like 1,000 games or whatever, in any of those, you need to create 1,000 apps, dedicated apps in there. It is hilarious, right? It's like out of one mind's. I hope the companies few and some government and regulations. It's also people always say, but the government and the evil government, big brother or whatever, and regulations, but we live in a world where the market is not self-regulating. Always is a free market, like free market also, as we see so often here. And users in their reality distortion field, mostly with advertising lies also, like it's amazing and helps you, whatever, and bling bling. But yeah, it's hilarious. I can't even make this stuff up. It's out of some really crazy 1984 fictional book or something. I hope they come even more under fire over its App Store practices. And also I urge all users, think about this and realize, if you're still in this, if you're still an Apple fanboy, think about what this company is doing to the whole computing industry as a whole, and to call it even censorship, but censorship for the artificial construct to tap in 30% of the revenue. And again, certainly then should all the excessive work, right? It's a lot of excessive work, even if you maybe integrate this automatically, which might even be somewhat difficult, but then also Apple might disapprove each and every app like Doom, Quake, too much violence, or other materials like, yeah, for the children, like, yeah. Anyway, could certainly discuss this for half an hour, but leave in the comments below if you think this should be discussed even longer or whatever. Burly Bear writes, before Open Wave system passed by, they acquired as well some shit like what? More about your critics. I'd like to hear more about critics about Oracle. independent repair shop, Louis Rossmann, repairs Apple garbage and hates his hardware. I'm certainly aware of Louis Rossmann, which was also referring to. But again, even he has first of all, he needs to find schematics somewhere in some garbage cans, and even some integrated circuits they can't purchase because Apple is artificially creating SKUs, that tiny little bit modified power controller and multiplexers that you otherwise can't get. In similar news, US company faces backlash after Belarus uses its tech to box internet. Also, recurring theme that is if you do strange tech like Apple and other Google search in China or censored search, if you do unethical technology, it might come back to you. And senators called Treasury Department to investigate company, but obviously we heard like Trump has some friends in Russia, so who knows how far the investigations go. But also recurring reminder that if some developers working in such a company, I certainly understand that people need some income for some living, but this is the stuff you create to undermine democracies and individual freedom with censorship products and spy products. In similar news, the German Chaos Computer Club hacks digital COVID lists. Here in Germany, restaurants usually need to keep some list of people in case there's some infection, to find people who were close to them. And some restaurants just had old-fashioned paper lists, and others had some fancy digital solution, also not to touch some paper. And the funny thing is always like, it's super top-notch military grade, amazing, secure, until someone takes a look. And certainly when hackers and security researchers of your local computer club go there for pizza and beer, and the people there running the restaurants tell them, oh, it's super top-notch secure, probably then it's challenge accepted, let's take a look. And of course a quick look, and they could quickly get access to 87,000 COVID data sets of 5.4 million reservations. So not only like, nice reservation system you're running your COVID tracking lists on because YOLO, but also thanks for super top-notch security, relevant to our recurring theme of everything is insecure. If you just look a tiny little bit through the military grade, amazing, the most super whatever encryption sense, like even turnover. So the affected systems, they could not only see the list of COVID tracing, but also reservations, orders, and revenue or turnover. Monthly 96 million euro and 7.7 million customers and 600,000 reservations had been processed over the system. Of course, they were surprised, but of course in the system personal data was saved, in some cases up to 10 years of data. So here, let's go to some restaurant, leave all your data nicely tracked in some not very much secured and missing appropriated access right managements, like buggy check of access rights. They could like quite instantly get full administrative access to this. So, 2020, not only analog worldwide pandemics, but also we still can't do restaurant chain management stuff. Travel passwords like 1234, 25 of the passwords, whatever, something, and so on. You get the idea. In similar news, online voting vendor Voatz urges Supreme Court to limit security research. It's like, YOLO, nothing to see, don't look too much. We have military-grade encryption, it's totally amazing, blockchain and all the buzzwords, but don't look too close, because our reality distortion field of military-grade encryption, unauthorized security research, like unauthorized, it's like, only authorized, not very skilled researchers are allowed to look from 2 meters distance. But the unauthorized security research, similar to Lewis Rossman's unauthorized repair, could cause harmful effects. It's like, seriously. Obviously, it should be obvious to all of you, maybe leave in the comments below, but if it's not unauthorized, like a third-party security research is exactly what is needed, especially in digital voting, online voting systems. But raise your hand if you are still surprised by this turn of events in 2020. So yeah, we probably have an update to that in some months or years, and the Supreme Court is considering whether to adopt the broad reading of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Also, yeah, a recurring theme of garbage laws in the States, but also Europe and Germany. Like even in Germany, they eventually outlawed the ownership and stuff of hacking tools and stuff. Like, yeah, how should we do computer research and security research and testing and stuff, and not allowed to own hacking tools. It's like, yeah, like Telnet or Nmap. But anyway, so there will probably be an update in case of this conflict between Voatz and the independent security research. So don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for this fun little ride. In similar news here in Germany, we had this ransomware. We had this Honda, Toyota, California vehicle registration system stuff, and universities, hospitals, everything left and right, because too much Windows with bugs and monoculture and stuff. But if you were wondering, in Germany, where here this was ransomware in this local courts houses, and they couldn't work anymore with PCs because apparently security, especially with Windows, is a little bit difficult or impossible. It's like, yeah, maybe use some more secure open source stuff. But they apparently still can't really get their work done. And additionally, they thought like they were like running Windows 10 or something. And alright, I think they misquoted this here, like Windows 95, which apparently I heard is not true so much to 2020. You need to learn it here from this channel. You could make a joke like, hey, they were running Windows 95, so much to their security. It's like, what security? But allegedly this is not true. I heard from other people more informed to this matter in this newspaper that it was Windows 7. But also, yeah, now the performance is down, so they, unlike mentioned here, not upgraded from Windows 95 to Windows 10. It's like, certainly the hardware is like, yeah, the Pentium 100 megahertz Pentiums, like, no, allegedly from Windows 7, but still bad enough Windows 7 to Windows 10 with the same hardware. And now apparently the performance is so garbage that they can't get their work done. And also they apparently use here like Word 95 or whatever macros. I'm not sure if this was mentioned here, but some of like software they use, maybe they still use something like Word 95 macros or some whatever. Anyway, strange stuff, certainly not only in Germany but other European and American states. In similar news, malware, more, and also, yeah, the matching image here. A fourth of all malware is spread currently through Microsoft Office files, as analyzed from research in the first half of 2020. The attacks in this category increased by, or doubled, is as a result of IT security specialist Sonic Wall in their I think it was behind a paywall, so much to hear if you want to pay for this. Obvious, it's like, yeah, no shit Sherlock, like cyber threat intelligence, like, yeah, no thanks, you get the summary here already. So, yeah, there is that. Also, in similar news, Wikipedia matters. This is a document where they researched what influence has it to be on Wikipedia and potentially manipulate this, put your own stuff, the advertising and stuff. Unfortunately, our unsuccessful woman distribution was deleted there because unworthiness, which I'm still very much disappointed about, and we need to get back in there, which also, yeah, distributions using T2, like Puppy Linux at times listed there, T2 not. But anyway, but they analyzed here what effects this had, and they had for tourism like 20 or 12% also improved percentage, something 5%. I think that there's something like 12% increase in tourism for cities that polished their text survived and so on. Like you put in your advertisement and it's still there. It's much easier from my own experience in French, German. I think in German we are still listed with our unsuccessful woman distribution, that is T2, but in the English is the most review stuff actually. But yeah, wherever this was here is what is here. Variable logarithm, robustness. It's like, yeah, 2020, you can even make a sophisticated study about that. Initial text length, whatever, city language. So yeah, whatever, you get the idea. Probably should have saved the summary. Measurement and its survival. It's like, do they also have a summary here? Too long, do they have a too long? Didn't read. But anyway, I think it was 12% from the back of my memory. If you have any corrections to that, let me know. How to employ something. You get the idea anyway. So yeah, 2020 proper advertising like listing on Wikipedia can boost your website visits. Yeah, so no shit there. Boost your website visits, your tourism, your whatever, maybe even Apple market share and similar stuff. So one last look at the comments. AMD, Intel, something PC with Windows running fine, knives running fine, quite performant. Yeah, exactly. So what's the issue? Also, yeah, the older the Windows, the better the performance, obviously. So who is running still the Windows 95, the Ryzen with Windows 95? Navarro writes, Wikipedia is a very strict technocracy and it's very hard for software related things because strict being published rules there and mainstream media. Yeah, so this is mostly for English, I found. In the English one we were deleted. I have plans to resubmit this. In the German one we are still listed. Obviously the only thing that counts is our own distribution. That is the only thing that matters. As you see, we are here, but what is here? Everybody something. Unfortunately, not in the English one. This was once deleted due to noteworthiness, which is also, in my opinion, a little bit unfair. That a lot of seriously much smaller stuff is in there, but this, as Navarro writes, very strictly moderated technocracy. Some unfair competitive benefits, which is also probably I need to recreate this with a slightly different name, because otherwise it's always do they have the history, otherwise they might find this in the editing history of previously deleted, and then it's even harder to get back in there. So probably we need to recreate this under T2 Linux or T2 SDE with outspace or whatever helps. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you learned something from this breaking news. As usual, leave in the comments below what you think to all this development in the IT world, and if this investment here of NVidia is a good investment or whatever, or anyway how you see the future with ARM and other competing architectures. That's it for today. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you soon for the next videos and live streams to come.